The light shines in the darkness. Our mission is to make a difference in the communities we serve, whether it is helping our schools, local churches, charities, or providing you with an unparalleled experience. When you walk through our doors, you will be treated like family and find our process extremely quick, easy, and transparent. We are out to prove that Daystar isn't a typical dealership, but a true testament to our name. Driven by faith.
Good evening and welcome to the Believeland Media Crestwood Red Devils high school football preview for the 2022 season, brought to you by Daystar Ford in Garrettsville, Ohio. I'm your host, Kevin Sledz. With me is the high school sports manager of Believeland Media, Joe Ewell. How you doing tonight, Joe?
Kev, I'm great. I'm excited. We got our first preview coming up. We got week 1 kicking off here shortly, and high school season's here. No more scrimmages, anything. We're just ready to get rocking and rolling with it.
Yes, we are. And Crestwood was nice enough to host us a few weeks ago for this preview, get a few interviews, and we'll kick it off. They were 7-4 last year, the defending CVC champs. Coach Jack D'Amato was the 2021 CVC Coach of the Year. They did 7 returning all-conference players, including 2 on their offensive line. They do have a new quarterback coming in, Charlie Summer. I did listen to some of the media day quotes, and I heard his name pop up a few times as a player to look out for this year. So,
yeah, he's interesting for sure. Crestwood last year finishing as the number 7 seed in region, I believe 17 in Division 5 for their playoffs. So they got a home field for their first playoff game. And they, like we mentioned, they're in the CVC last year, going 7-4. They took some tough losses. They lost to a tough Norton team week 3. Norton finished 10-1 last year. So, that's always tough going against a team like that. You just really hope that your kids can persevere and work through that moment. And almost a shocking loss in a way. They lost to Harvey. When we spoke, as you guys will see, when we spoke with Coach D'Amato, he talked about how that's a marquee game for them this upcoming season, because it was a very winnable game for Crestwood last year. The Red Devils only losing to Harvey by 8 points. They lost 21-13. So, the Harvey Red Raiders, obviously, they got that win, but, the Devils are going to be coming for blood that game. So, it's going to be an exciting one to see that week. And those two teams face off week 4 again. That's how they open up their CVC schedule for the 2022 season. So, I really think this Crestwood team has a very winnable, schedule this season, Kevin. I like the spot that they're in. The only downfall that Crestwood genuinely does have this year, I think, is 2 things. One, they were the new team in the league last year, and they showed up and they won the whole dang thing. And, that's, you kind of come in with that mentality that's what you want to do. That's your goal. But, now Crestwood's really got the target on their back. You come in and you take over that conference in a way. So, everybody's really got a chip on their shoulder for the Red Devils this season. So I think it's going to be interesting to see how this Crestwood team responds. As we talked about, they lost some key pieces, and we'll get into that as we talk about some of the other interviews.
Yeah, definitely. We have a couple highlights and some interviews. We've got the highlights from Jonas Honeycutt. He's a senior wide receiver. We got some of his highlights from last year to take a look at, as well as some interviews from a couple seniors, Noah Baker, the wide receiver, and Hunter Yoder, offensive tackle. And then young man Nate Blasiol, who's stepping in to replace his brother at running back. We've got an interview and some highlights from him as well. So let's take a look at those.
here with Noah Baker, Crestwood Red Devils wide receiver and outside linebacker. So after your injury last year, how are you, come in, re-jolt that offense after a bunch of seniors leaving?
We're just going to keep working hard, keep playing our offense, and play everything how we normally play.
Gotcha. So what can we expect from the Crestwood Red Devils?
We're going to go out there and work hard, and we're going to go back, get our championship.
Perfect. Thank you. I'm here with senior Hunter Yoder. He's a starting left tackle for the Red Devils and defensive end. So, Hunter, how are you guys going to defend your 2021 CVC title this year?
Well, we definitely have a lot of new pieces falling into place. We lost a lot of good guys last year, but our offensive line is definitely going to be one of our focal points this year.
Right. That's awesome. So, as a whole, with people watching this at home, what can people expect to see from the Crestwood Red Devils this upcoming season?
A lot of young guys stepping into positions, filling in for the seniors last year. We had a lot of good seniors leave last year. We have a lot of guys stepping up into positions where they'll fit good.
I'm here with sophomore Nate Blasioli. Last year for the Red Devils, he played slot wide receiver, but this year he's going to be taking over for his brother, Louis, who graduated this past season. How can you expect him to fill your brother's role this year?
I just hope I can, do what he did last year and, take the team, far and help the team out.
Awesome. So what can we expect from Red Devil football this year?
To work hard and be the best.
All right, defend that title?
Yeah.
All right, awesome. Thank you.
All right, so we had some good interviews there from you, Joe, with Noah Baker, Hunter Yoder, and Nate Blasiol. They're definitely all excited about the season and ready to repeat. I know, they've got a lot of young guys this year. I think almost half their team is sophomores, but it's going to be big for that senior class to take leadership this year with the young guys and kind of take them under their wing and show them the way.
Yeah, you could most definitely tell that, that last year's senior class in 2021 they were a very leadership class, if you could say, they were all leaders in that class and they stepped up to the table when that had to come for them. So, it's really intriguing and interesting to see how this new senior class and some of these, impactful sophomores and juniors that are really getting their first meaningful snaps potentially for these Red Devils, how they're going to respond, because, it's not like they open up with any scrub. Rootstown's always had a solid program over there, and they got to travel to Rootstown week 1. So that's going to be tough. And week 2, they got Minerva at home. That's going to be a very interesting game. And, before we get into the rest of Crestwood's schedule, something that I really do love about the Red Devils that Coach D'Amato does do is he schedules teams that for the most part are out of his division. And when like for example, week 2, Minerva, Division 4, bigger school. Week 4, Harvey, Division 3, bigger school. And then their next 3 games are all Division 5 teams. But teams that are definitely on the border, who every year are bouncing back and forth between Division 4 and Division 5, between Beechwood and Wycliffe. And then they finished their season with Hawken, who's Division 3. So, like the Red Devils play a tough schedule, and that's really why they were able to get that number 7 seed last year, because they had a medicine to the same recipe last season, as well with Rootstown, opening up with them. They ended up beating Rootstown last year, week 1, but like last year they played 2 Division III teams, 2 Division IV teams last year. So, this Crestwood team is not afraid of the action, to say the least. They look for having hard games and hard fought games. So I'm really interested to see, and Kev, you're going to get to see it firsthand because you're going to be there live for that game.
Yep.
I'm really interested when we talk about Nate Blasioli and how he steps into that role, because Louis was a heck of a player for that Red Devils defense and offense. Louis started as a sophomore at nose tackle for the Red Devils. And if you look at Louis, and Louis, if you're watching this, Louis is not your typical size of a nose tackle, to say the least, but he has that mentality that he doesn't give a crap. He's going to go out there and still beat your butt. So, that's something to definitely look forward to, see if Nate has that same mentality. And after, that interview that you guys just saw, Nate had that same mentality. He wanted every bit of that challenge and stepping into his brother's role and stepping more into it. He doesn't want to be known as, Louis Blasioli's little brother. He wants to be known as Nate Blasioli. And when people refer to Louis, it's Nate's older brother. So, he has that mentality. He has that dog fight that you want in your leaders.
Definitely. And, he's really excited to step into his brother's shoes and, like you said, make a name for himself. So you also had a chance to talk with Coach Jack D'Amato a little bit. So let's hear that interview.
I'm here with head football coach at Crestwood, Jack D'Amato. This is his 3rd year as the head coach. So, Coach, you guys won the CVC last year, first year in the CVC. Obviously, a lot of pressure going in there. People are probably going to be gunning for you guys right from the beginning. What can we expect?
We just hope that we can go out and compete. It's a very tough league. Last year, if we weren't able to win on that final Saturday, it would have been a 4-way tie. So it tells you a lot about the league and how tough it is. So we're hoping to compete top to bottom. It's a very tough league, and obviously we want to defend our title, but we understand the challenges that go along with that.
Some of your players previously talked about, losing a big senior class. Who are some of the guys that we can expect to step in and make a big role that you're kind of counting on to jump up from that, transition level?
We've got a lot of guys that are going to have to step in. We lost 6 really, really good seniors that played both ways, and we're really great leaders. So that's what we're looking for them to step in. Hunter Yoder, Noah Baker, Nate Blaziola. We have some linemen as well that we're looking for big things out of, Blake Baumgartner and Bryce Bennett, and among many, many others.
All right, awesome. So with that schedule, you and I briefly talked about previously, with the league being so difficult. I mean, you guys play in the Valley division of it, and it's tough. Like you said, 4-way tie if you don't beat Hawk in week 10 last year. What games are you kind of looking at that, obviously you take it one game at a time, but what games are you kind of looking at like these are going to be our battles?
Sure. Obviously, like you said, every week is a battle. It's high school football in Northeast Ohio, so it's the best of the best. In the Valley Division, we start off with Hawken, and last year, we start off with Painesville Harvey, and last year that was our only loss inside the league. So, obviously, I have a lot of respect for Coach Mick up there, and he does a great job, and we're just hoping to come out on the top this year.
So is there something that people should know about Crestwood football this year, like a mentality, an attitude that's going to be happening, or is it just going to be, kind of the same mentality that you enforced last year with that league title? Is there going to be any changes?
Not a whole lot of changes. We believe in what we do. We believe in our program and our culture, and we fight for our brothers, and the guys love each other, and they want to do what's best for Crestwood football. And we have a saying that goes EDCF. It's everyday Crestwood football. What are you doing today to get better? So to make the program better, and that is the mentality that all of these guys have taken since through the off season and into camp.
Awesome. If there's one word that the fans of Crestwood football can know that describes this team for this 2022 season, what is one word that you would tell them?
Fight. We're gonna fight.
Awesome. Thank you, Coach.
Thank you. Appreciate it.
Yeah.
All right, that was 2021 CVC Coach of the Year, Jack D'Amato of Crestwood. And he's definitely excited. A little bit of a challenge with all the youngsters this year, but he's looking forward to coming out and defending that title.
Yeah, Jack's a great guy. Him and I have had many conversations over the phone, in person, and competing against each other. I mean, when I was a player, he was the defensive coordinator at Crestwood. So I've been going, knowing about Jack D'Amato and him knowing about myself, for quite some time now. And he's a great guy, class act kind of guy. You're not gonna have any issues with him, and he loves his team. And something that I say and that I can definitely tell in him is that he's going to coach his kids hard. He's going to love them harder. And you can definitely tell that he has that mentality with his kids and his football team, because there's a fine line between a team and a program, and you can tell that what Coach D'Amato is building and has already partially built at Crestwood, he's built a program and he is sustaining that. And he doesn't send a team out there every week. He sends a program out there. And if you live in Manaway, or you're thinking about potentially if you're on a border and you're trying to pick between two schools and your kid plays football, what I will tell you is that Jack D'Amato is going to take care of your son. And if you're a middle schooler watching this, be excited, because he knows about you in middle school. He's watched you in youth, and he has every bit a part with the youth program and the middle school program, and developing that up to his high school program. And that's the method to the madness over there at Crestwood, I think, is that Jack's got his hand in all cookie jars, but he loves what he does, and he's a great guy. But, two big games that Jack really did point out was Harvey and Hawken. And those are the two Division III teams that the Red Devils are going to see this year. And, they beat Hawken, 30-0 last year, but, you could definitely tell that Hawken was down that year from when we talked to Jack. And then obviously, he said Harvey was a big one that he wants to really go get, because, 21-13 loss kind of leaves a bad taste in your mouth. And, I think that this Red Devils team is just going to come ready to play, be physical. They're going to try to punch, Rootstown in the mouth first week one, and they're not going to take their pedal off the metal.
Yeah, I agree. And one thing you hear about when you hear Crestwood football, you hear family. It's not just a team, it's a family. And I know they have a program for the players to get involved in the community. And you hear Coach D'Amato talk about he wants these young kids to be men and show them the way to be men, off the field as well.
Yeah, he definitely holds a standard that seems to be getting lost today. There's a standard of the student athlete. And, sometimes in today's day and age, we forget that the athlete part is a privilege, and that the most important thing is student. And you can tell that Coach D'Amato has definitely installed that, that mentality and just that mindset that, you are a student first, and being a football player, baseball, basketball, soccer, whatever, but playing for him is a privilege. And, though he does, you could say he needs kids, he doesn't need anyone. He makes it known that it's a privilege to be a Crestwood Red Devil, as it should be, from what he's built there.
I agree, 100%. All right. So, any final thoughts? Any wrap up with the Devils and this coming season?
Excited to see it. Hope I get to catch a few games myself. Really gunning for that Week 10 matchup where they host Hawken. You might see myself there at that game up in the booth at Jack Lambert Stadium. They got a history, and I'm excited to see how Hawken and Crestwood match up that week. But that's Week 10. The Believeland media staff's probably going to be, not even probably, they're going to be cheering for the Red Devils Week 1 against the Rootstown Rovers, I think.
Yeah, as you mentioned, I will be there in Rootstown Friday night to cover the Rovers and the Red Devils, and looking at possibly Week 4 at home against Harvey. That should be a pretty nice game.
It's gonna be Kev, I'm telling you, that's gonna be a great game, man. That's gonna be a great game. I'm excited.
I'm planning on being there for that. So we appreciate Crestwood High School for letting us come in and do the preview, and Jack D'Amato and the players, Noah Baker, Hunter Yoder, and Nate Blasio for showing up and doing the interviews. And also want to thank Daystar Ford for making this possible. So we appreciate it, and looking forward to Friday Night Lights. Everybody take care.
Thanks, guys.